is the day of joy, the day of joy, the day of joy. Stop there. When you finish singing Day of Joy, honeymoon is so wonderful, and then you come to start life, you just discover that there's a spirit that appears on the wall in the night. God knew all of that before he deployed you there. What you occasioned is what? Deployment. By reason of your deployment alone, you are exposed to warfare. Such is the nature of this deployment that Jesus will do. Say, if I had known, I would not have come here. That's why you don't know. So that the deployment can be effected. That's why he's called the Lord of the harvest. He will not consult with you before he does the deployment. You are just a victim of the deployment. Sister, how many years were you married before your husband died? Oh, you got married at 18. Okay, when he died, you were 37. That's how many years? About 19 years. She never got married expecting to be a widow at 37. 37 is young. Nobody plans that. Everybody goes into marriage expecting on Monday we'll wear blue, Tuesday we'll wear green, and then we'll come with the face cap like this. Glory. Kingdom principle of warfare is the first stark reality that you'll be exposed to on the basis of the deployment that Jesus is going to oversee. First stark reality. And you see, the average believer doesn't prepare for warfare because they think it's an alternative. They think you can decide not to choose it. This war I'm talking about is not a war you choose. It's a war that chooses you. It is because you were planted. That's why the devil became interested about the space and planted somebody there so that there will be consistent warfare. You will be expecting that, oh, when I enter my matrimonial home, every Friday we'll wear pink. I just stand on like By the time you arrive, you will find people calling Satan. Satan will hang on the wall and be speaking to them. Where did you people bring this woman from? Your case will be discussed in strange quarters. Because the same ground where Jesus plants the sons of the kingdom, the enemy also plants the sons of darkness. The same ground. Who can guess what will be the result of that kind of mixed cropping? That scenario is not competition. It produces warfare. That is the basis of the first kingdom principle, which is the kingdom principle of warfare. Let me expose you to small warfare. This I hope. Stand up. I think I was in Lagos then, and then Shinan calls me. I just came back from working offshore, drained. The only thing that wasn't drained was my spirit. And I came back home. Then she calls me. I said, Pastor, I'm about to die. Can you give us a little background of that experience that you had?
I lost my dad when I was 17 years old.
Now, is there anybody here that wants to lose his dad at 17? All right, but it happens. It's not something you're praying for, you're not expecting it, but in the life of some people, it happens. The fact that it happened doesn't mean that life has ended. Sister, life has not ended. Give us a little background how you stayed with that your uncle.
When my dad died, they held a meeting, and in the meeting they said anyone who wants to school will go to school.
So he now owned up and said, I'm going to train this lady. In a private school, you know those schools are costly. School fees $500,000.
When I was in 300 level, that was when I had the first experience.
She started having strange encounters. I don't have time to teach us what we call legal grounds. Legal ground. How many of you stayed sometime in your life with someone that was not your biological dad, mom? How many of you? As long as this young lady was under the authority of her biological father, these things didn't happen. But when a certain man who is a relative begins to invest in her life, a legal ground is created. And on the strength of that legal ground, some transactions can begin to take place. If that uncle never had the opportunity to give to her, that premise will never have been created.
I kept seeing those things I get to share with his wife. She'd been coming to me telling me she sees strange things, her husband is doing strange things, he doesn't understand and all that.
She is even a sincere person. So he started giving you a hint that strange things are going on.
At that point, I didn't believe her, even with things in my eyes.
Because the love was too much. How will you come and pay $500,000 every semester, every session? And then, no. If you don't know the language of warfare, you will embrace a serpent and say happy birthday. The kingdom principle of warfare has already started. Because of this place where she was planted, the place is already rigged, it's already compromised. It has already activated warfare. Most times believers are not sensitive. They don't know when to begin their war. They just say, no, it's a lie. Everything is supposed to be okay. If it's not okay, it's a lie. Jesus has already given us an insight. He called the people, what? The children of the wicked one. And you're expecting the children of the wicked one to do good, to be good to you. You expect too much. The average believer doesn't like war. It was chosen for you.
So after then, when I had the first experience, I think it was in a dream of the night first. I was in a dream where I saw I was in an uncompleted building where someone was pursuing me. And the target of the person was to touch my breast.
Okay.
So eventually, I thought I was very skillful and I escaped. Didn't know that particular direction I escaped to, he was there. So he was able to touch. So that day I came to the church chapel where we had a concert. And while I worshipped, I felt the presence of God so strange, and I felt something was lifted.
Lifted from where they touched.
Yes.
Warfare. Part of your spiritual warfare, part of the tools of warfare is in-depth worship. Because in in-depth worship, you lose sight of yourself and God becomes magnified. Under that atmosphere, yokes break. So that was warfare that took place there. Her worship stirred up the jealousy of God, and that jealousy moved God to break that yoke. She wasn't aware she was in warfare. She just felt she went and had powerful worship. Something happened, and she didn't probe to find out what it was. Go on.
So that same day when I left the chapel, I was going to the hostel. When I stepped my leg at the hostel door, I felt like an arrow.
Things that are thrown at you through witchcraft, if it breaks, the people that threw it, there's a signal, there's a control room, there's a barometer that will give a reading that broken. So the people will.
That was the beginning of a very strange headache. I couldn't make my hair. I was on low cut throughout till I graduated.
Low cut. You will see how a low cut you think is the fashion, but the low cut was actually a sign of a body.
So it began to affect my study life. I couldn't read anymore.
Our mental capacity was being drained.
Times I get to the exam hall, I can't remember what I've read.
Totally blank. Those are demons that pick people's thoughts, and the things you have stored in your soul, they can pick it up.
But actually, God was merciful such that there was none of my exams that I had a failure. I think most of them that had strange experiences like that, I get to have an A. And this is what normally happens. When I'm in the exam hall, I will hear a voice speaking to me, telling me things I had forgotten. And at times it looked like my book was given to me in the exam hall. I flipped through. So
we have two things happening here. The attack was still active, but the Holy Spirit was there and was also playing a role. Until that moment, she didn't know she was at war.
The headache became so tense and affected my vision. My eyes were swollen forever.
Affected her vision.
So I had to call his wife. He sent a car to come and pick me from school.
Meanwhile, the man that is responsible will send a car to come and pick her. She was being treated like a honorable, but her blood was paying. And as long as that premise is established, access is possible. Yes, go on.
So he asked his wife to take me to the hospital. I think a friend's hospital, private hospital. When I got there, the man ran some tests and he said it's malaria. And
malaria. So if you are a victim of warfare, most of the time doctors don't see what is wrong with you. And if they make a prescription, most of the time it is wrong. And if the prescription requires a surgery, just
so the wife was like, no, are you sure you're not going to check with the pharmacist this drug? So when I went to the woman, she saw the drug and she screamed. And she was like, who is this wicked doctor that gave you this particular drug? Does he want to kill you?
Can you see the manipulation?
So when I came, she had to change the drug. And that was how I was able to go to school. But before then, when I was done, he came with a drug that does not have any write-up on top. It was plain. I took one. Finally, his wife followed me and said, no, she doesn't have peace. I shouldn't take this drug.
Is it the man himself that gave it the drug?
Yes.
So the man now is a doctor?
Early in the morning, he comes and he opens the door slowly to check.
Every morning, he will come and open the door. When they shoot the arrows from where they shoot it, they come to check you early in the morning to see if the thing hit the target. Meanwhile, she was still ignorant about the warfare. So all this one happening now is just the grace of God. Now, do you realize that all these things are happening because she was planted somewhere? By the grace of God, I've traveled wide. And everywhere I go, I meet ignorant believers. A pool of ignorant believers. The modern Christianity in Africa is trying to take us away from warfare to make Christianity look intellectual. It's a Christianity of principles and keys, not of discipleship, training, and development. And so the last of our warriors are almost dead. So we have an infantile church that is growing that has not been exposed to the dynamics of warfare. What I found is that we pastors did not prepare the body of Christ for real life. It's become customary for us not to prepare people for practical kingdom life. And one of the stark realities that you are going to be faced with in this kingdom journey is called warfare. Believers are built with a message of hope, and it's going to get better by and by. Oh, wake up. It's not in every case it became better. In some cases, it became worse. It looks as if God lied to you. And it is not God that did that. It is you and we, the pastors, that lied to you. You started praying, you are active, and the situation deteriorates. It's not as if you sin though. It's only when you are armed with the right mind to know that, yes, part of my preoccupation within my current deployment is warfare. This is what we do here. That's how you survive it. You know, when pharmacists and pharmaceutical companies make drugs and it is bitter, like ciprofloxacin, they will look for a coat that is sweet and put on it. So you will drink it and not know that the real substance you are drinking is bitter. You know what? Jesus doesn't put that coat. He doesn't put it. So he tells you the way it is so that you can prepare your mind for it. Those people that we used to call them NEPA, electricity distribution company. If you are dressed right with the hand gloves and the accurate uniform, you can walk with electricity and it will not harm you because you are dressed right. If you are dressed right, you can walk where demons are and demons will not harm you. But you need to be sure of where you are walking so that you can be equipped to operate there. So a son of the kingdom that is expecting to extend the frontiers of the kingdom that does not know the language of warfare is not ready for kingdom life. Because in the kingdom, it is not a choice whether you fight or not. That choice was made on your behalf and you were released into a domain of warfare from the start. There's a deliberate effort to make believers think that faith makes things easy. Faith doesn't make anything easy, it just makes it possible. That's what the Bible teaches about faith. Faith makes it possible. That is all. It doesn't make it easy. Once you are picked it in the spirit and you align with that which God is saying, it will come to pass. But in between when you picked it and when it comes to pass, there's a catalog of peril that your life will be exposed to. So we need to teach and preach to our brothers and sisters to prepare them for what?